All right, good evening, everyone. Hopefully, the sound's working tonight. Got the ball rolling already. Starting out with the 300 grit tonight. Got a little squirrely and decided to go do the one on the 200 just because I wanted to once again dial that machine in. Sometimes it's a little funky, and I also wanted to see about getting my sound a little better because last time, every time I'd talk, you could hear like the machine in the background kind of sounded like a little robotic. So I turned the gain up a little bit. Hopefully that helps because I'd rather hear a little bit of the machine and not sound like a robot every time I talk. But we'll just have to keep messing around with it until I can figure something out. So hopefully you're all doing well this evening. Hopefully you had a good week and are ready for the snow. Hey, how we doing tonight, Brian? Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well tonight. Hopefully my sound isn't too funky. Still kind of working on things, But looks like we got another 4-inch sphere in tonight, and this one has got some super awesome characteristics to it. We'll see it here in just a second. I've had the 300 grit stage going for, I don't know, probably about 5 minutes or so. But hey, Wooden Chrome, thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, so once we get this 300 grit stage done, guys, we'll be able to see what we're working on tonight. Oh, thanks, man. Definitely appreciate that, Brian. Yeah, I've been working like crazy this week. We're supposed to have like about, I think it was the next 6 days or so of rain and potentially even some snow. So I decided to get as much core drilling done as I possibly could, and yeah. So I've got probably close to 20 spheres that I'll be working on over the next week, and yeah, they're looking good. So we've got this one and another one that looks just like it. It's going to be twins there. And then, yeah, I've got a whole bunch of really good stuff. Oh, going to the hot springs again. Sounds good. Hey, Epoch. Happy to see you, man. Thanks for joining tonight. It's good to see my members are showing up early. Appreciate you guys. What makes this stuff work. But yeah, so Epoch, since you just joined in, wanted to let you know that we're starting with a 300 grit tonight. I already did the 1 and 200 grit. Got a little squirrely on things and tried to dial the machine in a bit. So starting out with the 300. And yeah, this one's going to be good. But here over the next week, man, we've got a lot of work to do. So spent the last few days moving the tractor and wooden trucks around. Oh yeah, in the weather, exactly. Yeah, and we're supposed to get a bunch of rain over the next, week or so. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but also this is what I'm going to be doing for for probably about the next week is sitting here babying machines. But hey, it's all right. We're gonna have a bunch of spheres done once we get it. So. How long does it take you to complete one of your spheres? So it kind of depends, but this material that I'm working right now, it's much softer than, say, agate or jasper. It's only about a 5.5 on most. And so I would say it takes me total time without the collection time of maybe about 5 to 6 hours. It's really not that bad, all things considered, but we are working our way up to buying the Highland Park high-speed sphere machine, which will do, well, it says that I can do 100 to 125 a week. And right now I can do maybe 20 a week if I'm really cooking. So that's going to be a huge improvement. But it's also pretty expensive, and so are the cups. We're looking at, for a full set of, or a full series of cups, I should say, it costs anywhere from about $1,200 to maybe $1,600, depending on the size I'm working. And unfortunately, you only have a limited range. So, say for instance, my roughing machine back here, that's running 3-inch cups, and I can go up to about I don't know, a little over 4 inch, maybe over 4, but under 4.5. And so, yeah, you got a kind of a limited range, which means you're going to need multiple series of cups. So, yeah, it's going to be good. Getting cold front, but I was glad things get moving in a safer spot. Exactly. Yep, I feel you there, Wooden Chrome, 100%. Picked up a 3.5, super nice polish and feel. Oh man, appreciate that, Wooden Chrome. Definitely appreciate it, man. We're definitely working on these things, and we do get a really nice product in the end. Now, as you've seen in the previous live streams, sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling to get my machine to do what I want it to, but for the most part, I feel it's worth it. And it all comes down to getting that finished product. So one thing I did want to point out here is I'll show you. Well, I guess I can't because of the rotation of the cups with the way it's going. But what we're doing is we're paying attention to the color of the water that's coming off of the cups there. And so what we're really trying to get is the deeper scratches out, and we're going to go so the 100 and the 200 are going to get the major scratches out from the roughing machine here, and then the 3, the 5, and the 8 really start to get those deeper scratches out, and then 1,000, 3,000, and 10,000. Those are your polish stages. So right now, like I said, we're just doing the 300. I let it go a little extra long in this stage just because the next stage up, the 500, is really going to start getting to that pre-polish. But for the most part, yeah, if we give it a little bit extra time, it tends to turn out. And that's all we care about is the finished product, But we've got a big show coming up in the second weekend of March over at the Jackson County Expo, and so my friends want a bunch of spheres for their booth, and so I'm trying to have, I really would like to have about 40 of them for them in various sizes, going from about 2.5 inch to these 4-inch ones. But yeah, we'll see. We'll just do as many as we can. They just got back from Tucson, so I'm sure they're tired. Don't know if we'll be seeing them tonight. I have 3 stones difficult to get to the range I want to work with. Yeah, man. I've got a whole bag of your stones over here, and I was actually thinking the other day about seeing if I could drill any of them, but I just didn't get around to it. Some of those ones we found over at the coast, some of that ocean jasper, it turns out, well, it's jasper from the ocean, let's say, because I guess there is a special kind of ocean jasper, but, it's all right. We'll call it ocean jasper every once in a while. And so one of the things about this machine that's an interesting feature, you could say, is that if I turn it off and then wait a second and turn it back on, the cups will actually rotate the opposite direction. And so lately what I've been doing is trying to use that to my advantage. So if it's kind of spinning a little funky, or I'm getting kind of stuck in one pattern, what I'll do is I'll turn it off and then turn it back on, and that usually tends to give it a whole other pattern, which means we're getting full coverage on everything. And in fact, here in just a second, we're probably going to try that method out. But yeah, from my angle, it looks pretty good. But you can see over on you can see on that one side there, we're getting a little extra buildup of the mud. And so that means that we're kind of getting an insufficient rotation, because we want a random pattern, as random as possible. Now, unfortunately, the way this machine is, we're never going to get it truly a random pattern. So that's where we just have to mess around with things and adjust it accordingly, Plus, when the person built this machine, they left a lot of tolerance in some of these slides, and that gives us a whole other can of worms to mess with, But for instance, I'm gonna adjust this side, and you can see the rotation will change. So you see how it went almost completely straight when I pulled that over. And so that's where we're using a lot of shims to make sure that we get, the best rotations we can. So what I'm going to do here in just a second is we're going to turn this thing off, let it sit for just a second, and then we'll turn it back on and you'll see that the rotation will change. Well, that one motor didn't want to spin there. It looks like it had a little bit too much pressure on it. But as you can see, once we started it back up, it gave a whole different rotation. So it's kind of funky little machine, but right now we're doing with what we can. And to be honest, the product turns out great. So it's all that really matters. Yeah, much better rotation now. It's kind of funky, but what I think was happening there is on the rear motor, we might have had a little bit too much pressure there. And so it's one of those things where it will look fine 1 minute, and then when you do these adjustments, it's like, well, what's going on here? And then, hey, James, nice to see you tonight. Appreciate you joining. But yeah, we'll just see these funky little, changes. And so that's where we're just kind of work with it, That's all you can do. Eventually we'll get that professional machine and, it's going to be a lot better. But then again, we're going to have to figure out a whole new setup for the shop then, In fact, I was playing around in the shop a little bit more today, trying to get just like, I don't know, a little bit better setup going because like I was rewatching last week's live stream, and it seemed like every time I would talk, we'd have this like robotic sound because the the gain was turned down too low or something along those lines. So every time I would talk, it would pick up just a little bit of the machine in the background as well. So we'll try to deal with this kind of stuff. How you doing tonight, James? It's good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so I can do larger spheres with the machines. Oh, right on. Welcome, James. Thanks for becoming a member, buddy. Appreciate that. Every little bit helps, But Brian, so yeah, like I can do larger spheres with this machine right here. And actually, my roughing machine, you can't really see it that well, but it's a little bit different build. It's not so, let's say, horizontal as this one. I think it can go up to about 6 inch. Now the only problem is I don't have the actual cups to, I don't have the full tooling to do the 6 inch yet. I think what I'm probably going to do is have my range with this set of machines go up to about 5 inch, and then from there, once I upgrade to the professional machines, then I'll be going up to 6, maybe a little bit bigger. But I'm not sure if the Highland Park machine goes bigger than the 6 inch. I'd have to double check on that, but 6 is basically going to be looking at our cap right now. Lately I've been having a lot of fun with these 4 inch ones. They work pretty well. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh, appreciate that, James. Definitely appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, I mean, if you're local around here, buddy, I've definitely got the spot. And right now is a great time, even though it's going to be raining and it's going to be kind of cold. That's the perfect time because, what happens is this usually has a white rind. Like that. But what happens is when it gets wet, you'll be able to see little green specks coming through it, or little spots, And then some of the other stuff that, around here, I get some really nice color off it. And it looks green, because it hasn't really built up that rind yet. Hey, Rock Dude. Good to see you tonight. Appreciate you swinging by. Glad to hear you got your saw all taken care of as well, Rock Dude. That's awesome. So yeah, definitely I'm digging this Antigerite though. So if you're in the area there, James, definitely reach out. Let me know what's up, and I'll take care of you, buddy. I got the good spots. So we've been letting this one go just a little bit longer, as you can see. And now that we've got the rotation on the cup, I'll see if I can show you the drip, the color of the drip in there. So you see how it's still pretty milky in there. I'm just letting it go a little bit longer, and I'm watching the drips in there. And once it starts lightening up a little bit, then I switch it over to the next stage. But fortunately, the 500 and the 800, they're not too bad. I usually leave them in for, maybe 10 minutes or so. But it just kind of depends, because this material actually is a little bit harder than, say, let me see. So this green right here is actually a little bit softer than the stuff we've got in right now. And mostly that's because we've got a little bit more of the chromite inclusions in this stuff. But it's also because this stuff right here, I believe, is actually the Williamsite as opposed to the Bowenite. And so, yeah. So Epoch 6.5 is the max for the Highland Park machine. Is that what you're saying there, buddy? Yeah, rotation looks pretty good on this too. And like I said in the last stream or two, I have been running a little bit extra water. That way you guys can also see the rotation too. But sometimes what I'll do when I'm just doing my production is I run a little bit less water than this on the lower grits, just because I want them to grab a little bit more, take a little bit more meat off, and then as I move up, I do typically increase my water, which, speaking of, I better check that real quick. What's nice though is once I get the new machine, I'll be able to have a little bit better of a water system as well, because this is only like a little 2.5 gallon bucket on top of the stand there. And yeah, it works, but it's also one of those things, like when I'm doing these live streams, I do tend to go through a lot more water, and so it's like, oh yeah, better fill that up real quick. So I think this one's good, so I think we're going to swap over to the next grit. Oh yeah, this one's nice. I'll show you this one here in just a second. So you can see here, got that nice antigerite part right there, or the bowenite, I should say. But this is really where I was looking at it like, oh, that's going to be wicked. Unfortunately, you know, the webcam doesn't really do the best, but yeah, you can see that's pretty awesome right there. Really going to look like a planet. So yeah, we don't want to have too much pressure on this because you saw before the motors didn't really want to start. And that's just because it got too much pressure. And then we'll get this little drip going. Yeah, so you can see we do have a pretty decent rotation on that. Still got a little, we're going to have to do some adjustments as we go because although it looks decently random, because what it's doing is kind of this like, I suppose I could show you like that. It's more doing like that, right? And so thanks, James. Appreciate that. And so what we're trying to do is make sure we get full coverage. And now we're going to get a great amount of coverage on this, if not fully, right? But what we are wanting to do is make some small adjustments throughout the whole thing just so we are guaranteed getting full coverage of it. Because ultimately, like I said before, it's all about getting that finished product. And if it takes me 10 extra minutes each step, I don't care. You know, it's better to get the product, you know, the quality. And so we're on the 500 grit right now. It's going to look pretty good. And this is actually where we start seeing, you know, more of the character come out. But yeah, like I was saying before, this one right here has actually got a twin. And I really had to figure out which one I was going to do tonight because this one has, like, it was out of the same exact rock. It's got a lot of the same characteristics, but it's also got like its own characteristics. And so I really am like, oh man, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you start making them and it gets you jazzed to make the next one, you know. And it's like, oh man, they look like little planets, you know. So one of the reasons I originally started making spheres is because I've always, like, anytime I've ever gone to a rock shop or, you know, a rock show or something like that, there was only two things that I would really keep my eyes open for, and that was like really nice spheres, and then fluorite specimen. Well, that, and I gotta admit, I'm a sucker for copper. So like, if I saw some like really good Bisbee copper specimens or something like that, yeah, I would definitely try to pick those up as well. But you know, spheres just got so expensive. I couldn't afford, you know, bigger ones. It was always like, at most I could get like a 2.5 or a 3-inch one, because I could never justify spending the money. And so it's like, you know, eventually I was like, yeah, I'm going to make these one day. And actually my roughing machine here, I've had this thing for like 5 years before I actually got to the point where I could use it. And so this has been a long time coming. When you get a chatoyancy that is harder, it's not the same. No, so the chatoyancy is actually softer than the host material. It's a, well, it's asbestos, but what is it called? Oh, the name's escaping me right now. But yeah, it's another one of those types, and it's softer. Chrysotile. Chrysotile. And so it is a bit softer, but the nice part is it will polish. And so that's one of the reasons why I really like the Santigorite. And, you know, actually I had somebody comment in one of my videos the other day. Longtime subscriber, great person. Always love hearing feedback from them. They're like, you know, you might think about doing another material. And it's like, I will. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to do more, you know, different types. But I just love this stuff. And it's local. I can get it, tons of it, you know, as much as I want to, basically. And it's all so different, you know. I can go and pick up 5 boulders, and every single one of them that I drill will be different. You know, like the other day I was showing you guys one that was white. I've never seen the white one before. Every time I've drilled it or cut it or anything like that and it's white, it's always trash. You know, it's like super soft, gritty, you can't polish it, there's nothing you're going to do with it. It's like it didn't form, you know, correctly. It didn't get enough heat or pressure or something like that. But this stuff actually turned out great. And I still haven't done the polishing on it yet, just because I've been working mostly with the bigger stuff lately. But I've got a bunch of them that are like 2.5 and 3-inch that I'll use my smaller cups for before too long. Got a seam of actinolite with salt outcrop. I'm hoping the deeper stuff polishes. Yeah, that would be awesome, wood and chrome. That would be super cool, buddy. Yeah, and there is a tremendous amount of good stone in Oregon. In fact, real close to where I get this stuff, an old rockhound buddy of mine was telling me today when I saw him at the museum that we've got lepidolite up at lepidolite. I think that's how it's pronounced. We've got some of that stuff at the top of the mountain, and so I'm gonna go check that out before too long. But you know, it's pretty treacherous getting up there. So I mean, it's really steep area, but I mean, you know, that would be pretty wicked for some spheres. You gotta admit. Hey, Oregon Territory Adventures, good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you're having a great week. And yeah, man, it's good to see you. Oh, I didn't realize that. I'm smarter because of you. Hey, bud. Definitely, I'm always trying to help. You know, that's a big reason why I'm doing these live streams. I swear, if one more person sends me that dude's home build machine, though, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh man, the fire hazard. But hey, you know, it's cool. Hey, you know, at least there's people out there trying, and I know that I'm only this much more advanced, so I'm sure there's guys looking at my channel going, "The hell is this guy doing, man? This guy doesn't know anything." But I'll at least tell you that I don't know anything. Speaking of, I'll also tell you where I learned a lot of this stuff. So there's this guy, I think he recently changed the name of his channel, and I actually want to throw a shout out to him on the next video I do, because I got a good one in the works. The last video I released, I kind of just did like an overview of what's going on, but this next one we're working through the entire process and we're going deep. In fact, I'm going to show you the little nuances of my core drill, showing you the little nuances of this polishing machine. Same thing with the other two sphere machines I got that I use as roughing machines. But anyway, there's a guy, I think his channel used to be called Dirt Cleaner Videos, but I think he just changed it to Superior Lapidary. And pretty sure he's, up by Lake Superior, right? But I think that's all he does. I think he just makes spheres. And so I want to reach out to him and show some appreciation, because I definitely learned a lot of stuff from watching his videos. And I think it would be good to kind of share the love, you know what I mean? Because it's like there's a lot of people in this YouTube space that are they're not so friendly, let's say, and I don't want to be like that. I want to build a community and have it to where we're all appreciating each other and working off each other. I think it's just a better way to live. Always a bonus, man. It's beautiful. I love the cool color. Oh yeah, thanks, James. The little cord fell onto my leg. I was like, what the hell? Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is a air filter, by the way. You can tell that I'm super professional in my studio here. Got a microphone on, air filter. But hey, you know what? We're trying here. And I think that, for the most part, that's all you can do, right? Try and just keep doing a little bit better each time. So, in fact, Epoch just cut a beautiful Oregon Sunstone recently. He's only cut, officially, he's only cut 2 of them. And when I say officially, he's got an Ultratech faceting machine now. And his first one he actually gave to me. I was like, wow, dude. Didn't even, kind of don't know what to say, I'll have to show you guys. But, of course, a webcam ain't going to show you very well. I'll be like, hey, look at this little thing, But maybe I'll make a post or something like that, show you there. But he cut a beautiful red one recently, and, man, I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed for only having cut 2 stones now. So it's pretty awesome. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of micro adjustments here. I'm starting to get this machine figured out, guys. So as you can see, well, actually you can't see because I changed my camera angles up a little bit, but I've got 2 packs of little wood shims. And so what I found is that every once in a while, if I am not getting the pattern that I want, what I do is just shim up one of the motors, or I shim one of the slides there, and it tends to throw the ball into a whole new pattern. Funky little thing, but hey, that's the fun part, is getting it dialed in, because it's like I was telling Epoch the other day. Once I actually get to the point where I have the professional machine, I've got the the Highland Park machine, I'll have worked my way there, literally from nothing. And so I will definitely be appreciating that machine a whole lot more, and, I'll be much more able, because a lot of the stuff right now, this is just all troubleshooting and stuff, I'm just figuring stuff out as we go, because, it's like I said, I'm looking to get quality more than anything. And sometimes I'll be honest with you guys, this little machine kind of frustrates me sometimes, where I'll have to, I'll be adjusting it all over, and it's like, okay, this one's not doing anything. Okay, I'll adjust this. Nope, that didn't do anything. Okay, I'll tighten the chain, loosen the chain. Oh no, nothing's doing anything. And so I'll turn the machine off, and I'll reset everything. I'll pull everything back. I'll put everything right back into place, turn it on, and it's like, boop, 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 boop. And it's like, what was I doing? What was I doing wrong? You know? And that's the unfortunate part is sometimes you don't know what's wrong. You literally, there's no way to tell, you know? You can press all the buttons, and if nothing changes, then it's like, well, start over again, you know? And then, like I was saying earlier, what's cool about this one, though, is if you turn the machine off, the cups will actually go the opposite direction when you turn it back on. And so sometimes I've been trying to use that to my advantage. If I feel like I'm not getting the correct rotation that I'm looking for, I'll let it do its thing for a while, let it do it, and then, you know, shut it off for a minute, turn it back on, boom. All of a sudden I get a whole new rotation, and that gets more coverage, you know. And that's really what we're looking to do. Hey, Jared. Thanks for joining tonight. And yeah, I've got these things for up for sale. And I also will have a whole bunch more here probably over the next week or so. Right now I've got, you can either send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, or I have my email address on the YouTube page as well. Alternatively, my buddy has a website called rockhound.com, spelled RCKHND.com. And I've got some of them up on sale or some of them up there right now. So we're going to have a bunch more on there here shortly. But yeah, if you're interested in any of them, just reach out. I'd love to take care of you, man. And then James, yeah, appreciate that, man. It's quite the compliment, you know. And I think this is the way we should be doing things, you know. I mean, as crappy as it is, not everything in the lapidary world is super ethical. I'm sure you've heard of the blood diamonds and all that, but that's why I don't like buying the spheres from overseas. Is because a lot of the times, man, it's children making these things, and they don't have a choice in the matter. You know what I mean? So it's like, but yeah, definitely appreciate the compliment there, buddy. It's like Rose says, dialing it in, buddy. Yeah, for real. And Epoch, you're gonna have a whole pile of stones to master your craft here. And about a month and a half, 2 months, huh? Which, by the way, Epoch, I was talking with Rock Dude the other day, and he's going to try to come out to the claim at some point. Hopefully he'll be able to get out there this year. I know he's a super busy guy, and he does all the field trips and stuff. So, but yeah, I'd love for you guys to meet, because Rock Dude is it's one of the coolest guys I know, to be honest. And he's super talented, like machines. And I mean, bro, when it comes to getting huge rocks, like tree-sized petrified wood, this is the guy you call. You're like, hey, bro, I found this 900-pound rock and I don't know how to get it out. He's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. It's hilarious. What he does, I heard that one of the things he likes to do is he'll put a cart on the rock and then strap it down, and then he flips the thing over, and so then the rock is on the cart. And he's like, get it out that way. And then he was also saying that, he'll use sleds sometimes. And it's like, that's pretty clever. There's a few places that could have really helped me out. But instead I was, not very smart about things. And I'm just like, screw it. I'll just pick it up and set it down, and pick it up and set it down, and go for 6 hours trying to get home or back to the vehicle, That's back when I had the Corolla. And I tell you what, this thing was driving like this sometimes on the way home. Just tilted. Or like this, because I got so much in the trunk. Actually, I ended up taking back in the Corolla, I called it the Chariot, because I had the passenger seat. I took the passenger seat out. Nobody ever rode with me anyway. And I was like, yeah, that way I can, if I ever need to, really desperate, I could sleep in the Corolla. And then, because it was like a 97, nothing would kill that thing. And so But I originally took it out because I went to go pick up a machine from Covington Engineering over there in Meridian, Idaho, and I was like, I showed up and they're like, "Where's your truck, dude?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Corolla will work." Yeah, they had a good laugh about that one. Got a Craftsman lathe that feel that way about? Yeah, buddy. Tell ya. For real, man. Oh yeah, absolutely, Jared. Hope to hear from you, buddy. Stone boat. Yeah, exactly. See, that's what we should definitely be calling Rock Dude's sled. Hey, Tiger Eye. Appreciate you joining tonight. Oh, thank you for the compliment too. I got tons of them, that's for sure, and definitely we'll have a bunch more. That's for sure. This is going to be quite the wild ride this spring and summer, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. So I'm going to turn this off real quick, and then we'll turn it back on and see if it changes that rotation at all. Should have seen me when you had, dude. Oh my god, you had a Geo Metro, bro. You're like 6'2". Oh, God. Yeah, so you see how we turned it off and waited just a second, turned it back on, and it switches rotation on the motors. And now all of a sudden we have a whole new rotation pattern. And so it's like, oh, hey, there we go. We'll use that random, variable that, why does it do that? I don't know. But hey, guess what? It helps, or at least we're going to make it help. And yeah. Keep hearing Barky Dog barking for some reason too, so I might have to go and check out what's up with that real quick. But I mean, she loves to bark anyway. It's just in her nature, I think, But yeah, so this week is going to be crazy busy. Like I was saying earlier, I think I've got about 20 spheres that I'm working on. And actually, that's something I should tell you guys. So some of you guys might have seen me with these on the, as sphere stands before, right? So the reason I actually use these things is because I'll set them on like that, right? But then when I'm actually going through, because I'll have like 10 spheres out on my table. And what I do is when I'm going to the next stage, I'll flip it upside down like that. And then when I finish this stage, then I flip it up like that. So then we know it's like, oh, okay, because sometimes you'll be going through a bunch of them. Maybe you're listening to a podcast or something, and it's all like, well, wait a minute, did I just do that one? And I don't want to do things multiple times, And so, like, it's not going to hurt it or anything. It just wastes a bunch of time. And so I figured out, it's like, oh, yeah, there we go. Now I can tell, each one's done. And then it's like, okay, once they're all done, flop them back over into this position. And then as we go, just bing, bing, boom. There we go. Just ding, 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 ding. Keeps me on track, But, yeah, I mean, when you're working by yourself and, you got a bunch of different things going on, it's like, was I doing that? And, at first I had a pencil, and I'd mark them with a pencil. And it's like, before you know it, I was going like this, going, where's that pencil mark? Huh? Did I do this one already? Where's the pencil mark? I figured there's got to be a better way. You know what I mean? Hey, bro, that's what it's all about, man. Just trying there, Epoch. Try to take care of you, man. Wait until we get out the desert, and then you might be singing a different tune. They don't really have deserts on the East Coast. Not high desert. First time you find a scorpion when you don't want to, I think you're going to be singing a little bit different tune, that's for sure. But I mean, the desert's fun, bro. It's a lot of fun. High desert's nice, and fortunately, we're going to be able to see it during the springtime, which is actually it's one of my favorite places. Heart Mountain during the spring, man, it's wicked. And then, you know, if we when we see a full moon out there, bud, that's the cool stuff right there. But you know what? Kind of a little crazy is, of course, all the critters like to come out during the full moon, and so what we do is we take the UV beast, the black light flashlight, and walk around with that. You'll see scorpions just glowing, bro. It's wicked. Kind of makes you see the desert in a whole different light. Because it's like there, you think the desert, oh, what's out there? Maybe a couple sagebrush and a bunch of dust and dirt and rocks. But it's like, nah, man, there's life everywhere out there. It's just a different type of life. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have rattlesnakes and scorpions and stuff like that, but for the most part, man, they don't want nothing to do with you. They're just trying to survive as well. They want some food, some water, and some shelter. That's it. They're creatures. Ain't nothing crazy. It's beautiful in the spring, for sure. Oregon Territory. He knows, man. He knows. Oh yeah, look at that. Phone's going crazy. They're at the. I'm gonna run and go see what the dog's barking about real quick. I don't know why the hell she's been barking for so long. So just give me 2 seconds. She's barking. The weirdest dog, man. I tell you. She just barks. It's like I'm bored. Bark, bark, bark. All right, so I think this one's. Oh yeah, look at that. That's gonna be a good one, huh? Yeah, sometimes I don't know why she barks. She just likes to bark. Yeah, there she goes, barking some more. So I could tell her, I'm like, what are you barking at? Huh? Bark, 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 bark. It's like, dude, what's the problem? Oh, I'm just barking. Oh, okay. Well, if you could stop barking, that would be preferred. right, moving on to the 800. It's our final stage of our pre-polish, or what we could call our pre-polish. But just want to double check this real quick and make sure there aren't any funky spots I missed. Because every once in a while, what will happen is you'll get some funky rotation and there will be like just a little tiny dot that you missed. And it's like, well, how did that even happen? All right, looks good though. So you see how that can just kind of set in there like that? That's what we're looking for. Just gonna gently put it in here. That's another thing I would like to figure out. Just a little bit different chain setup. What's going on over here? All right. So we can see there we do have a pretty decent rotation. But I can already tell we're going to have to do some micro adjustments through this one. Oh yeah. I got to tell you, Tiger Eye, if you ever I got a couple scorpion stories there. One of the times me and my buddy Mike were out there. It was not quite a full moon, but I think it was like his first time ever out there. And you know those camping mats that are like kind of like wicker or whatever. We had one of those, and I was like, yeah, I was gonna make camp nice, you know. And so I set that down, and he's like, you know, and it's like that dusk time or so, and he's like, whoa, dude, check out that big old tarantula over there. I was like, that ain't tarantula, bro. It was just this fat scorpion, and he's just like, puts his shoes back on real quick. He's like, bro, you didn't tell me there was a bunch of scorpions out there. It's like, well, I mean, you know, I didn't think we'd actually have a problem with them. But, yeah, I mean, I've never had a problem with the scorpions, but I do like going and finding them. It's cool, you know, especially because they glow super bright with that black light. Set up a sphere machine, new and small. Have to say I'm partial to this Monster Beauty. Oh, Tiger Eye. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, so I know I've had probably, no joke, probably 50 people either send me links to that guy, his videos. I know exactly who he is. I've watched a couple of his videos in the past, and that thing is an abomination. Like, I originally, it's like I said in my last video, I was originally going to tear that thing apart and just be like, why? But then I was like, okay, no, screw that. I don't want to punch up. Who cares? Let me just show you what's actually going on here. There's a lot better home build options here. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of irritating, you know, especially when it's like, dude mostly does tumbling and stuff, and then, you know, you get it to where it's like, see something that's kind of popular, and so then they jump on that bandwagon, and it's like, well, thanks, bro. You know, but it is what it is, dude. You know, I'm sure he'll lose interest in, you know, by the next video, whatever the inspiration tab tells him to do next. It's ridiculous. But it's whatever. I'm not here to start a bunch of drama or anything like that. It's just, sometimes it gets frustrating. Too hilarious. Man, my dog started barking about the same time he started talking about. So I don't know why, man. And actually, it was crazy, dude. So last night, same thing. I was messing around in the shop here, and all of a sudden I was like, oh man, did I lock up the chickens? Oh yeah. So I put the headlamp on, ran outside, and locked up the chickens, and put their little heat lamp on and everything like that, because got to take care of the chickens. And still got the light on. I turn over like this, and there's like probably 15 sets of eyes all looking back at me. You can see they're like the reflection on them. And I was like, the hell? Turned up the headlamp as high as it would go, and there's just the whole field is like covered with deer. I'm like, now imagine you're ancient, you just got firelight going, and you catching all those eyes out there. Ooh-wee, man. It'll scare the crap out of you. Hey, Puck. Just remember, buddy, my first video, still to this day, does not even have 1,000 views. So, it is what it is, man. It's not so much about being the next, Mr. Beast or whatever about that. It's never going to happen, dude. What it's about is sharing with what you do, It's like I told you before. Big reason why I'm doing these live streams is so then people can see what I do, and if I make little mistakes and stuff like that, they can learn, because there's one thing you can only do once, man, and that's learn. So if you're going to be learning and sharing what you learn, somebody else down the line is going to have a lot of value in that. And who knows? Could be a lot of people, in fact. Just the way it is. It's like, did I ever think that I was going to have a bunch of people watching my rock hounding videos? Dude, I'm just some random guy from Oregon. But here we are, making balls, Got a couple videos that did pretty well, and, I think my channel's been going for like 5 years now. I did have a little bit of a downtime there because my last computer broke, and so I wasn't able to make videos for almost a year. But as soon as I had the money, I got a new computer built, and I made sure it was top of the line. My graphics card alone was $3,500, and here I am, hammering away, trying to do more than ever. Doing one video a week, one live stream a week, and in fact, I might, if I can figure it out, because I'd really like to show you guys, like, I want to set up my camera to where when I'm just doing stuff in the shop, I just turn it on, let it go. And then, but the only problem is I'm not going to be able to, like, interact as much. And I also don't want, it gets loud in here, like to the point where I'm wearing earplugs. So, or, maybe my earbuds, depending on how many machines I got running, but it can get pretty loud in here. And I don't think anybody really wants to hear that, to be honest, because I know that I don't want to. And over a microphone or, through speakers or whatever, it's even worse. But I think what I'm going to try to do is get like a music playlist or something going like that. Excuse me. And then just kind of have like a playlist running in the background. So it's just some, elevator type music or whatever that YouTube gives you. And that way I can kind of do these lives and everything like that, and really show like my production. Because once I get Frank, I'm getting a diamond wheel for Frank here. That's going to really increase my my preparation speed. And then I have so I've got this roughing machine right here behind me, and then I have another one for my small spheres. And it's like I showed in one of my Instagram posts the other day, I had everything running besides my saw back there. Well, I didn't have Frank running because Frank's on the mend right now. It's getting ready for an upgrade. But yeah, sometimes it gets kind of crazy, and I know there's a bunch of people out there that might be interested in watching. Just what actually goes on, you know. The green sphere is a gorgeous top of the line, no comparison. Thanks, Tigers. I really appreciate that. You know, it's like I was saying before. I've been trying to get this whole operation going for, you know, better part of 5 years. Like I bought this machine back here probably about 5-6 years ago, and just worked my way until I could actually turn it on, you know. And now we're working our way to the next stage. And so eventually, what we'll do is we'll have, you know, the Highland Park high-speed machine, and yeah, I mean, we're also going to have the Sunstones available before too long too. Epoch's going to be cutting most of those, and my buddy Brian, because we got another guy, part of our team, who's like a award-winning gemstone cutter artist guy. He's super good. You ever sphere out a thunder egg? I have not, but we've talked about it. My buddy Nate, the guy who I've got some of my spheres on his website, rockhound.com, or RCKHND, just in case you're curious. But well, wait, yeah, Wooden Chrome, you already know. But yeah, so he's got ton of thunder eggs, and we were talking about that the other day. And so I think what we're probably going to end up doing at some point is giving that a whirl, just seeing what happens. You know what I mean? Not only are we both curious about it, but I think there would be a bunch more people who would be curious, and so I think it would make a good video. You know, and that's a lot of the times what I like to do. Is like, if I'm interested in it, then other people might be interested in it. So it's like, okay, let's make a video. You know. But I do have some stuff that I'm going to be trying to do here. Probably, I'm really thinking I'm going to try to start, like, maybe, I don't know, like a week or two out, right? But what I want to do is I want to start meeting up with some of my rock hounding friends, and I want to show you guys some of the cool stuff that they're doing lapidary wise, right? So like one of my friends, Angel, he's making these little guitars, like wire wrapping. He'll find a rock, polish it up, right? And then he'll wire wrap it to look like a little guitar or a cello or a bass or something like that. And I'm like, dude, that is clever. I like that. And then, you know, Rock Dude, he's got this massive chunk of petrified wood that he's talking about turning into a fountain. And I think that would be crazy cool to show people, you know, just the whole process, you know, what are we doing here? And so, yeah, you know, just sharing ideas, because it's like, that's one thing I've seen with a lot of, like, I would say less, you know, or new people to the hobby, right? Is they'll go and find a bunch of cool rocks, and then they're like, but now what? What am I supposed to do with all these rocks? And it's like, that's a good question, you know. But there's a lot of stuff you can do. It's a rock. I mean, we literally had something called the Stone Age. So at one point, we were doing everything with rocks. Epoch, put your channel up there, Bo. Yeah, I'd love for Epoch to share his channel. And in fact, that's what I've been saying about this whole live stream thing right here is like, because we've got some smaller guys who are starting to do social media around here, or smaller in the social media space, right? They're trying to get their start going. And so I know that they'll swing in here and stuff, and it's like, dude, promote your channel, man. Tell people you're my friend. Do it. You know, this isn't just the me hour. It's like, this is a whole community here. Yeah, Epoch, put it up there, bud. Got me into thunder eggs. I'm hooked. Yeah, man. I tell you, the thunder eggs are pretty awesome, and you know, I'll be going out there before too long. In fact, I have a whole series that I want to do with Central Oregon. It's just, I tell you what, I've been having a lot of issues the past few years. You know, like specifically vehicle issues. In fact, I've been waiting for 9 months now, I think, for an insurance settlement for a guy who was drunk driving and hit me and totaled my Subaru. Um, and so it's just always something, you know. Before that, my computer died, and so I couldn't make any videos. And and I was fixing the Subaru because like there was something wrong with the transmission, and then when we fixed the transmission, the guys who put the transmission in screwed something up and messed up the rear end, and it's just one thing after another, you know. Well, it looks like I might need to add a little water real quick. Hold on. We're going to try a little trick here, and we're going to turn the machine off for just a second, turn it back on, change that rotation. Funny how that works, huh? Hey, if it works, it works, though. That's the way I see it. Oh, that's awesome, Wooden Chrome. A charity art channel. That's badass, man. Yeah, I saw some of your stuff, man. Pretty awesome. And that's the other thing. Like, I like it when we get other content creators, you know, part of the community, because then I can go check out what they're doing, you know. And it becomes more of a community instead of a competitive landscape. I don't really see why we can't all be part of a community instead of, you know, it's like, oh man, their channel has more subscribers or they got more views or whatever. It's like, who cares? These are supposed to be our hobbies. We're supposed to be having fun, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, it kind of sucks sometimes when, you know, you're doing something and then, you know, some big dog comes in there and steals your idea and takes a bunch of credit for it and doesn't even give you a little bit of shout out or anything, but it is what it is. It just kind of goes and shows you a little bit more of what kind of person they are, you know. But I'm not really too caring about that stuff anymore. When I first started, I was like, nah, they're ripping off ideas. That's that's bullshit. Screw these guys. But now it's like, well, whatever. Who cares? It's a little frustrating, but in the end, I don't really care. Yeah, actually, Epoch, he's still learning the video stuff, and yeah, he went out to the lake in like 2.5 feet of snow or something like that, and camped. I was like, dude, you're a beast, man. That's so awesome. But you need to, you know, you need to do that kind of stuff more often and show people what's up. Tell people, eat a can of beans in front of people, bro. Do like the bushcraft channels, man. Well, I mean, Epoch, you know, once you start cutting more gems and stuff like that, you'll have plenty of content, dude. Tiny orange and red balls, super hard ones. They're great. Others have the iris black. Ooh, that sounds wicked there, Wooden Chrome. Some thunder eggs at silent auction. They're from Little Natchez River near Nile. Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, my buddy, currently rock hounding, has a video up there at Little Natchez, and really need to get up to Washington at some point. But it's just like, you know, There's so many things I need to do. That's just the bottom line. A million things I need to do. And if I had more resources and stuff like that, oh man, I tell you, I'd be all over it. But you know, you do what you can. You know, that's the thing. Um, but yeah, that's one of the nice things about having other Rockhound YouTube friends. It's like, oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. Got to get creative to get that iris, but for the price of a Thunder Egg, good candidate for a hidden gemstone. Yeah, actually. And, you know, wooden chrome, I've got a spot over here for parallax agates. And, I mean, you got to really cut a whole lot of them to get it, but there's definitely iris in that same location. In fact, Oregon Territory Adventures knows where I'm talking about. You can see angels, pendants, guitars, we explore nature. Yep, exactly. Yes. Yes, Epoch, it did reverse. Hey, Ron, good to see you, buddy. Not taking Valentine's Day off? No. In fact, I almost came out to your restaurant tonight, but I didn't have any gifts to bring you. So, well, I mean, I could have brought you. Suppose I could have brought you this one, huh? But yeah, I actually was in Grants Pass picking up some windows. What, yesterday or the day before? Anyway, yeah. Oh, I almost came to your spot and had lunch, but once again, I didn't have any offerings, man, and I didn't want to show up empty-handed. You know. But appreciate you being here tonight, buddy. Is your wife okay with you being here right now, bud? Shouldn't you be giving her some chocolates and some flowers and stuff, man? Exactly, Tiger Eye. There's a rock for every person and a person for every rock. Exactly. That should be on a shirt right there. I'll have to tell my buddy. Thanks for checking stuff out. I have a few good vids. Oh yeah, absolutely, Wooden Chrome. I do think you have a few good vids, man. That's for sure. Currently rocking. I did a nice video of that area. Yeah, dude. So funny story about that, Tiger Eye. Currently rock hounding is actually why I have this YouTube channel. So I was watching his channel, for probably a good year and a half or so, and I was just always commenting in his videos, and we would chit chat back and forth in the comment section and stuff. And I was like, man, you got to come down to Southern Oregon sometime, dude. We got all kinds of cool stuff down here, you know? And he's like, well, if you got all this cool stuff down there, why don't you start a channel yourself? And I was like, you know what? Fine. I will do that, dude. And, yeah, one of my first videos, I think it was, I don't know, maybe my third or so video, he invited me to McDermott. And, yeah, I went out and hung out with him and did the whole McDermott thing, and yeah, can't wait to get back out there too. But eventually, I'm hoping to get down to Utah and spend a little bit of time with him and Sarah. I really like them; they're good people. Yeah, one of the coolest agates is from Little Natchez. Yeah. Hey, Pacific Northwest. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you joining tonight. She's working. I'm doing paperwork. Yeah. Major hours and every day. Oh yeah, Ron. I lived that lifestyle for many years, buddy. Many years. And the crappy part about that is I also lived above the restaurant, and so there was no escape. I was there 6 days a week, and on the seventh day, it was like, go grocery shopping, go wash clothes, go anything you possibly could. And then at the end of that day, you go back down to the restaurant. You're doing all your inventory check. Okay, what are we going to need for the week? Blah, 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 blah. You know, because I was doing sushi, and so it's like, you got to stay on top of everything like that, because your fish, your seafood, not only is it super expensive, but it just goes bad quick, you know? And the only person that is allowed to say you're dumb if you think it's cold? Yeah, bro. Yeah. especially when we have nothing compared to the cold like you guys got. Yeah, I tell you, Ron. I in some ways I do miss the restaurant, but in other ways I couldn't get far enough away from it. Um, the weird thing is though is ever since I um, left the restaurant, I don't like cooking near as much. I used to love it, man. It was like I'd get off of work, stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning watching YouTube videos, watching Anthony Bourdain, all this stuff. Like, okay, what are some of the? I wouldn't even know, because I was watching like Japanese videos. I wouldn't know what the hell these people are saying, and I'd go, just try to. I would take screenshots and stuff and try to figure out what the hell is this stuff. What are they adding to that? What is this? What is that? I was just obsessed with it, man. Because I mean, sushi game's a whole different game. And yeah, once I decided to get out, it was like, no, I'm done. I'm never going back. And I ended up serving some tables over at one of my friends' restaurants in Medford, and took me all about, I don't know, 4 months before I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. It was terrible. Looks like we're about ready for our next stage. Oh, there's Barky Dog singing the song of her people. Get this thing cleaned off real quick. Oh yeah. I can already feel it. Just silky smooth. This is one of my favorite stages too. Here, let me see if I can show you guys. Yeah. Oh, I like the focus there. Yeah. Right there on that fringe, right here. Oh, that's super cool. It's like you're looking down into clouds. And you got this stuff over here. There. That's pretty sweet. Oh yeah. This is why we do it. Stinking Barky Dog. Swear. You know what's the craziest thing? We tried everything to get her to not bark as much as she does. Doesn't stop her. Doesn't care. Yeah. You guys might even be able to hear that. Silly dog. All right. Onwards. Now we go into 1,000. This is where we start seeing some shine. To be honest though, that one's already feeling really glossy though. So I bet you this stuff's gonna turn out great. It's gonna have a nice high gloss at the end. Yeah, it seems like motors are staying nice and cool. Jeez, what is that dog barking about? This thing going, still good water. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man, this is gonna be a good one. Oh, looks like we need to do some funky adjustments. Hold on for a second. we're doing this now. This is the fun part. All right, so that looks like it's doing all right, but we do have a little bit of buildup there. You can see the mud building up. So that's something we're definitely gonna have to adjust. It's kind of a funky pattern that we got going there. It's like a side spin, but I'm sure that we'll get we'll do a little bit of adjustment here in just a second, and it'll change everything. It's like I said, sometimes this machine's really finicky. Love living in Osaka, fresh fish daily. Oh yeah, yeah. My buddy or my brother, my other brother there, not Epoch, but uh, he was in Okinawa when he was in the Marines, and yeah, he didn't ever send me anything cool, unfortunately. That's how we know he is the lesser of the brothers. I asked him for knives. You know, I was like, dude, give me a Yanagiba or like, an Asuba or something, man. And he's just like, what? But he's a good guy. I think that I was probably asking for a lot, to be honest. Customers better be prepared for absolute quality. 100%, buddy. Even if it takes all kinds of funky little adjustments, right? Seem to have lost its swagger. Yeah, exactly, man. Isn't that so weird? And then watch, we're gonna turn the machine off here in just a minute and see if that changes anything. And I bet you for some reason it's going to. But since it's got this kind of um, it's almost kind of how the Earth spins, to be honest. But where it's like a side spin. Um, it's actually getting a decent amount of coverage right now. And the weird part is it looks like all of the cups are making full contact too. Now we don't want to have too much pressure, of course, but this is just the weird quirks of the machine. And so yeah, um, I'll just watch the water drippage here. And actually, let me show you real quick. See, I got that milky water there. So it's definitely taking off material. And then what I'm doing is I'm watching the drips underneath it just to see how transparent those are. Because right now they're pretty turbid. But as it goes and it gets to, gets all the deeper scratches and it stops cutting as much, then that water becomes a lot more clear. And it's weird too because as we go through the stages, once we hit the next stage and then the final stage, so the 3,000 and the 10,000, what you'll notice is that right now the water is like milky white, but it actually becomes like brownish black on the final stages. It's bizarre. And now, see that? For some weird reason. And it's weird too, is it's actually running quieter now too. So I don't know. This is where at some point I'm like, I know I'm gonna have to kind of hurry up on getting my Pro, the Highland Park machine because I don't know how much life these things have left in them, to be honest. And what I'm saying is literally I don't know. Who knows how much these things were used before I got them? And there's, the motors don't get hot or anything. That's why I'm actually using this one. That and it's a whole lot faster. But every once in a while, it sounds like maybe there's a bearing going out. And in fact, the roughing machine does the same. So, it's just one of those things. I mean, eventually, we're going to have it to where we're all professional grade, I'm really looking forward to it. But right now, we're getting a great product, and so not really a whole lot I can complain about. Just got to make sure I'm on top of things and paying attention, But yeah, already I can see the water looks clear. I'm going to run out and put that dog inside so she quits barking right next to the window. I'll be right back. Silly dog, man. I swear, it must be like deer or something. She sees a deer and she's just like, what the hell's that? Just goes off, barking for 10 minutes. And like, she's right out next to this window. I got a window like right here. She's just standing out there barking. Like, what are you doing? I look around and it's like, are there deer in the field or something? Nope, just barking. Like, but it also kind of, I got to pay attention to that because like we've lost chickens over the years. Fox or something like that. And it's like, she's doing her job, technically. But yeah, it kind of stinks sometimes when you're just like, why are you barking? Yeah, one day, Epoch, he'll come around. It's just going to take a bunch of sunstones. Keep looking around for slab saws and keep getting back to the Highland Park. God, it's so expensive, though. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I'm pretty fortunate. This one back here, um, I got from a friend of the museum, and I think I paid like 900 bucks for it. It's just a little 10 inch, and yeah, it needs a little bit of tune up here and there, but for the most part, it's good for what I want. Eventually, though, probably gonna need a bigger one. Yeah, and to be honest, wooden chrome, depending on where you're at, you know, dude, it's not a complicated device. You know, I'm sure you could have a machine shop fabricate up a box for you, a metal box, you know, and get something fabricated up. You're gonna get exactly what you want. Then you're gonna know who built it, all the parts, everything like that, and I bet you'll get a much more skookum machine. Yeah, the coyotes have been pretty bad in past years, but fortunately, not a whole lot this year, which is kind of weird too. Um, but I've heard they like, um, they kind of travel for their food, so it's good. They're not eating my chickens. So, but actually, it's weird. Speaking of the chickens, man, I've had like two chickens die over the last month. And the other day, it's weird, man. They're like zombies or something. I don't even know what the hell's going on. But the other day, like, because I'm trying to train the chickens to go up into the pasture because I'm tired of them pooping all over around the house, you know. And especially up on the patio and the deck, I'm like, dude, stupid chickens. Um, and so I went out there with a big old bucket of grain, and been pouring it out in the field for them and stuff. And so all of them, they'll just swarm me going all the way out there, right? I get out there, and all the chickens around me, they're all pecking and scratching and pecking and doing their thing, and eating the stuff I just gave them. And then down by the house, I see one chicken that's just kind of standing there. And it's like, chicken, what are you doing? And I show them the Scoopy thing because it's bright yellow, and so they see it. And chicken's just standing there. So I walk over, and we're on the other side of the fence because there's another pasture right behind. And yeah, she never got up. She just died. And it was like, what the hell's going on here? And the other one basically did the same thing, except I didn't pick it up and it puked all over. But yeah, it just, we went out there one morning and chicken was just dead. It's like, this isn't good. Probably should make sure to quarantine the other chickens. Like the old scrolling type power feed. They don't make them, but the part I could make it scrolling a bit. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey Steve, how we doing tonight, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you joining. Daniel, great to see you tonight. Appreciate you joining. Oh, good call there, Daniel. Good call. Hopefully not. I think I'd rather deal with the coyotes than the cougars. Well, depending on what type of cougars we're talking about, huh? 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 Accidentally dug up a squirrel on my stash today. Yeah. That was good on you, Tiger Eye. Good on you. Thinking about the squirrels out there. Yeah, it's so weird. It's because most of the chickens, they'll let me pick them up. They'll do this thing where they're like this, and they'll, when I get close to them, and it's like, yeah, okay, come here. Or I'll pet them when they're doing that thing. And yeah, I picked this one up, dude, and it didn't do nothing. It just was like stiff as a board almost. That's why I say it was almost like zombie. It's weird. And I pick it up and just starts like leaking out of its mouth. It's not like, chicken projectile vomit. It was just like, bah. And it was like, yep, you're going over here. But yeah, it was weird, man. Never moved again. And I went out there the next day, and It was like, wait, yep, that thing's gone. So you see over on that corner that looks like there's a little bit of extra mud buildup here. So it's actually on this corner right here. So we're going to change the rotation just a little bit by doing some shimming real quick. See, just that little bit of shimming ended up altering that just enough. Finicky little machine, but hey, this stage is actually one of the stages that it's like, yeah, I like to let it go just a little bit longer because um, it really does help, And actually, you can see in the on the cups there. Let's see if I can show you the buildup. See how it's a little bit more gray as opposed to white now? So that's where I've been noticing that if I just let it keep going, especially when I got a good amount of water on it, the water kind of tells me what's going on. But yeah, I'm super excited for this one. And that means that I'm definitely going to have to do its twin here in the next first thing in the morning, more like. Yeah, man. Freaking weird chickens, dude. I love having chickens, dude, but also at the same time, um, when they keep pooping on your patio right next to your front door, it gets kind of annoying. Um, that or you're going out, you got the big scoop full of food, and you're like, all right, chickens, yeah, you're getting them trained. They know that is the scoop, and it'll just be a swarm of them, and they're so stupid they don't even think not to get in front of your feet. And so you'll be walking, and all of a sudden it's like you accidentally step on one of their feet or something, and it's like, oh, dude, sorry, chicken, get the hell out of front of me. So I think I'm gonna get like a stick and put it next to the food and the scoop and everything like that. So when I'm walking, I can do like a blind person and make sure they're not walking in front of me where it's like, okay, I got the scoop, guys. Just don't fricking walk in front of me, stupid chickens. Yeah, it does look like that cleaned up a little bit. What I'm curious of is if we turn this thing off and then turn it back on and it switches rotation, will it go back to that same stupid rotation that it went before, or will it actually go change? So let's give it a whirl real quick, right? Thank you, little machine. Look at that. That is, I don't know why. Slight adjustment though. Alright, we're gonna. Now it's being all funky. What a bizarre machine. Sometimes I really just don't get this machine. You know, everything was going so fine, and then it was like, burp, burp, burp. We'll let it do that for just a second. Because, yeah, it's being funky. Yes, Epoch, it does have a twin, buddy. It's going to be a nice one, too. It's like a Keebler bowling ball. Exactly. Have you worked with any other serpentine material from the wild turkey mine? You know, I have some wild turkey, but I only have a small chunk of it. I would love to work with some of that stuff. I definitely need to get up there. Um, I would really like to get some of that stuff because I love that vibrant green. You know, it's a little bit different type of the serpentine, but it does sure take a nice polish. I'll tell you that much. Yep, Epoch, yeah, greedy little sphere buyer there. Oh yeah, I love the serpentine. It's actually kind of funny because my initials are um, ASP, which is one of those tiny little deadly snakes. And I think it's funny because it's like, oh yeah, serpentine. End up playing with snake rocks. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this machine right now, though. I mean, it's definitely got a rotation, a good rotation on it right now, but it was just being really weird there a second ago. But I guarantee that this is getting the coverage. In fact, you can see my reflection on the sphere right now, so that's when you know it's doing a good job because I'm pretty far away. Shiny ball. It really makes my lights look terrible, though. Oh, God, you can see. But, yeah. In Chile, the ancient civilizations made entire cities out of serpentinite, pathways and all. Wow. I I really want to go down to Chile, Peru, all those ancient civilization type places. Be really cool. I think it would be great content as well. I think the first place I'm probably going to end up going though is Thailand, just because my dad's wife's Thai, and so um, easy for me to go over there. Easy for me to get translation and everything like that. So I think we're going to call it on this stage and move on to the next one. But I'm going to give it a quick inspection to make sure we got everything. I do want to see if we turn it back on. Is it going to change the rotation again? Weird. It's all right. I think we're good on this stage anyway. Yeah, and motors aren't hot or anything, so I don't know. But I think what it is it's just like it's got these funky gaps on the side here where the slides are. And oh yeah, definitely need to add some more water too. But yeah, it just kind of does weird things. But I got it figured out. Taking a little bit of time. Sometimes it takes a little extra, but it's all right. Let's get our dry towel here. Let's see how this guy's looking. Oh yeah, that's coming along real nice. See if I can show you on this one at least. It's getting just a little. It's just starting to get that gloss. So we'll swap these pads out for the next one and fill up our water because it does look like we are pretty low. Let's get some water in there real quick. All right, 3,000. All right, let's see how this is actually sitting. So it's pretty soft, so should be all right. What I think needs to happen now is I can see this cup right here is not super aligned. So what I think we're going to do, pull this in just a hair. There we go. Yeah, I can see that cup right there is free spinning. Should be all right. Oh, it's going to tell us though, that's for sure. This thing is being funky. Got good contact. Everything seems like it's good. That seems like it's better. Yeah, that was one of the problems there. I'll once I release this next video, you guys will know a little bit better of what I'm talking about. But the motors sit on these slides, and one of them has zero gap. It's like, perfect fit. The other two, on the other hand, both have variable gaps. And so it all just like, there's like a bunch of different things you have to dial in to try to get it to where it's working as you want it to, right? And then, of course, if you tighten down the little wing nut, sometimes that changes the whole deal. And so it's just like, oh my God. I mean, something where it should be relatively simple, right? And now all of a sudden you have 15 random variables into it, and it's like, oh, what's going on here? Spent a few years doing research on the old world to get hints for if I find any kind of old stone smoking hut or something. That would be awesome, man. That's smart. Yeah, Ron, definitely going to be going to Thailand before too long, dude. I think it's Chanterbury or something like that. That's got huge gem market. We're going to take a bunch of sunstones over there, hopefully, before too long, My chef came back from Thailand and some amazing blue eggs she found in her yard there. Like, better than Holly Blue. No way, buddy. That's awesome. Rock hunting Thailand would be a blast. That's for sure. Yeah, definitely wants to do the Angkor Wat. But I think, to be honest, he needs to get in a little bit better shape because, he's got a lot of hiking to do and a lot of these places that he wants to go. And his hip kind of gives him some trouble sometimes. And it's just because he's not doing his exercises like he used to. Cruise ship to Thailand. Oh, no, man. I'm a plane type of guy. I love the plane. In fact, if I really could, I'd go get a pilot's license. I love being in planes. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I like being in airports. I like planes. I like the whole experience. Been thinking a rough sketch of ideas for a system that would help you fully adjust the motors and all of their angles. Wow, that would be cool, man. That would be cool. Well, definitely let me know, Steve. I'll be looking out. Myanmar, West Thailand also has outstanding gems. Yes, it does. And the jade out of Myanmar is world class. World class. Sitting cradles possible, and the cradle should adjust. You're right. Yeah, that would be awesome. Hey, Debbie. Good to see you. Appreciate you joining. Happy Valentine's Day. We just hit the 3,000 grit, so we're getting a really nice gloss on this, but got some funky little things that we're working with. Just I don't know, it keeps getting funky rotations, but when is it not, right? You just got to adjust it and keep going. Oh, you don't like the planes there, huh, Steve? Oh man, I love it. I mean, of course, flying over an ocean ain't really anything to look at, but when I fly back east, oh man, excuse me, I'm just glued to that window the whole time. It's so great. Mechanic and anything fail anytime. Yep, exactly. Well, and if you watch any of the Instagram reels or Facebook videos or whatever the hell it is, you'll see some duct tape and some questionable mechanicking, that's for sure. Hey, Rockin' Lady, good to see ya. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for joining us. There we go. Just gotta hold that right there. It's so weird, and you know what? It actually really helps me sometimes having the camera there, because it's like I can see, so much with my eye, but it really does help when I get, two angles at it. But yeah, you can see this one is gonna get a super high gloss. I mean, man, you can see the chains reflecting back, and you can even see me reflecting back. It's kind of crazy. Oh yeah, I bet. From Kalispell Glacier Park. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Some call it 1,000-mile-an-hour tape. Yeah, exactly. Just the right size jet to see a lot. That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to go back east. Actually, if I had a little extra cash, I'd probably fly out there here before too long, and then come back out with Epoch for mining season. But don't really have the cash, and at this point, I gotta get as many of these spheres done as possible for the big rock show, because there's going to be a lot of people that go to that show, and so want to make sure I can, make some money, make some hay while the sun shines, right? Water's still a little milky. Oh yeah, I was gonna add some more. Oh hey Casey, thanks buddy. I've got some more on the way too. That last video was, kind of more of like an overview, because I mean, a lot of my videos are usually much longer, especially field videos. But this next video that I'm working on right now actually is going to be more of a in depth, very detailed video about like the core drill, its little nuances, how I use that. I showed you how I drill the rocks themselves, but I'm also going to show you like how I strap it down, why I'm doing it like that, the two different ways that I strap it down, because sometimes I'll just strap the rock down, other times I put some 4x4s or 2x4s or something around it to pinch everything together. I'm also going to show you how I do the, what do you call it, the little jigs, because there's a little bit, because they're just wood as well. So I'm going to be explaining, showing you the jigs, everything like that. Then I'll be, I'm not really showing you a whole lot with the grinding phase, number one, because Frank is kind of out of commission right now while it's, getting upgraded to diamond. But, to be honest, dude, it's grinding a rock, like I explain a little bit of like my methodology of how I'm actually going about it. Like, okay, here, at this edge right here, I'm coming up on the wheel like that, but other than that, you're just trying to get to the point where it's like this is as much of a sphere as possible. And then actually tomorrow I'll be recording a bunch of the stuff on all three of my sphere machines, well, the operational sphere machines. So I'm going to be showing you all the nuances of my my small roughing machine, and all the same thing on my large roughing machine, and then I'm going to go through this guy right here, the polishing machine, and show you all the little quirks about this as well, and what I do to fix those quirks to get the the results that I want. Because like I've explained it to you guys here, but I can't really show you because I can't move the camera around and show you different angles and stuff. Everything's pretty much just stationary, and then from there, yeah, should have that out. I'm thinking I should have it out by Wednesday, because I try to post on Wednesdays and stuff. But if I depending on how long it takes me for editing and stuff, at latest it will be out Thursday. But yeah, I just think that I'm going to start doing more sphere videos in general. I think that there's a lot of people that want to see the sphere stuff. I mean, that one guy who built that one machine, I wouldn't necessarily call it a sphere machine, but that thing's got like 500,000 views. Now, was he paying, to pay for more views and stuff? More than likely. But, it just goes to show you that there is interest in the whole sphere making world. Plus, I do want to throw a couple shout outs out there for some of the guys who actually do make spheres on YouTube. Because there's like, I was explaining this other guy earlier, I think his channel's named Superior Lapidary now. And then there's like Pebbleology, he makes some pretty good spheres. But there's only a couple of us, And so it's like, hey, if we're getting any kind of, attention, I want to make sure that everybody in the sphere world is getting the attention. You know what I mean? I'm not a greedy YouTuber. Made a video on a private jet over the Great Salt Lake, and YouTube took it down for some reason. Must have went over something they didn't like. Yeah, it's weird about YouTube. You never know. I hit their monetization mark pretty early on, and there was no strikes or anything on my channel. And I talked to them on the phone even, which is rare. And they were like, dude, we don't know. We don't know why it's doing this. Yes, you have the 1,000 watch hours. Yes, you have, or the 4,000 watch hours. You have the subscriber count. You have everything. There's no strikes or anything, but we don't know why it's not working. And so yeah, YouTube can be wonky. Hey, thanks, Debbie. Definitely hope to put more out there. Oh, also, Debbie, I have I'm in the works of getting the P.O. box right now. It's just taking me a little bit longer because they wanted like a voter registration card. And I was like, Okay, why? Well, it's just what we asked for. Okay, so I had to order a voter registration card, but yeah, we're getting that put together. So I should have that in like I'm assuming the next week or two. Just kind of depends how fast the state of Oregon is with that card. But yeah, we'll have that set up, and then I went through a bunch of my scraps yesterday or the day before, and I've got a bunch of stuff separated out for you. So we'll get you a price and everything like that. But more than anything, I just wanted to make sure we got you some really top quality stuff. You can tell people, yeah, polish balls for a living. Actually, I thought about doing some innuendo type stuff like that. Um, some real YouTubey type stuff where it's like, um, people say I'm nuts for telling you about my big balls or something like that. And then maybe do the thumbnail where it's like, but you're like, make it to where the sphere is like blurred out or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think 3/4 of my audience is male, so I think it would probably get a good laugh. But also at the same time, it's like, YouTube might give me a hard time on that one, but we'll see. I've definitely got it in the back of my mind. Exactly. That's the truth, Epoch. Double check your setting, look for monetization, checking. I know a few people have had problems, found the issue in their settings. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, fortunately, this was years ago, but it was just the weirdest thing, you know? Because, I mean, like, all the settings were correct. I didn't have any strikes. I had everything. But eventually they ended up, um, it was like I applied for the monetization, like, because you can only apply once every 30 days. And I applied for like 5 or 6 months before it finally went through. And I talked to them the whole time and was like, what's going on here, dude? I've got everything. And right about a year after that, one of my longer videos, the first recap video I did, it really took off. And I think right now it's sitting at about like 250,000 views, which is pretty crazy too, because it's like I never thought anybody would. I didn't ever think I would get a video to see 5,000 views, let alone 250,000. It was pretty wicked, and yeah, kind of makes you want to keep going. When you're like, dang, people actually like this stuff. That's crazy. Exactly. Exactly, Casey, right there. You nailed it, man. And that's I was really thinking about it. Oh yeah, marble race spheres, dude, that would be so cool. I would love to create a little track and have like a bunch of the spheres I make and be like, okay, we're gonna race these things. That'd be so wicked. When I was at No Prep Kings, oh my god, really? That's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, like, it's weird because like when I first started doing the videos, I wasn't doing it, for any other reason, just to, other than like to be part of the community, because I saw that there were some rock hounding channels, but none of them were really. I mean, they weren't really doing Oregon. Currently, rock hounding. He was in Portland for a few years, and yeah, he did some rock hounding around here. But by the time I got it to him, he was mostly. I think he was already moved to Washington by then, and he was mostly just doing Washington stuff. And so it was like, well, somebody's got to represent for Oregon, and more than anything, somebody's got to represent for Southern Oregon. And yeah, but then I found out real quickly that there's an in group and an out group, and I was definitely in the latter part. In fact, there's a lot of people who they won't even talk to me. I don't know why. I've watched their videos, I've commented and stuff like that, and nope, they won't talk to me. And it's like, okay, whatever, guys. I just wanted to show you my rocks. Like my old video that had 100K views, YouTube took down because of the background music, and I contested it. Yeah, I've got a video right now that has about 50,000 views up at Zinc Creek, and I they said that the music once again, and so I was like, well, how do I fix this? And so they have like some little options there. You can mute the song or whatever. None of it works. It just glitches out, and so I just unlisted it, and eventually what I'm probably going to do is find the original, like the original video, and then go and take all the music out and repost it. But to an extent, I'm like, why? Just keep making videos, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Casey, he is in Utah now, and he's got he's got a pretty nice setup from what I've seen. His shop is, well, it's kind of what he deserves, better than that old, shipping container. So I can't wait to actually go hang out with them sometime. But getting down to Utah is kind of far down on the list. When I started YouTube, it was from a band, so we could do MPK. Hmm. Yeah, I could see how that one, YouTube. I don't. YouTube and music is, it's the weirdest thing. So at one point, I was paying a subscription service for some music, and then all of a sudden that changed, and so they tried to like, basically they tried to claim my monetization, and I was just like, nope, no more of this. I'm not doing this anymore. And so now I only use the excuse me, only use the YouTube Studio Music. Um, it gets kind of redundant sometimes, but they are adding new stuff finally. And so I've been able to find some good tracks on there that work with the vibe that I'm trying to convey on my, for that video. Yeah, that's ridiculous, Steve. Ridiculous stuff. And now what they'll do is, so there's two different music studios, and one of them there's a whole lot more music on there, right? But you have to split your revenues with whoever the music creator is. And so, say your video makes $100, right? You could use 2 minutes of their track, and your video could be an hour long, and you still have to split it 50-50 or something like. And it's actually worse, I think. I think they get the lion's share of it. It's ridiculous. So I'm just like, no, I'm not playing those games. Yeah, I wanted to see if we could get a little different rotation, but to be honest, I think we're ready to move on to the next stage. So I'm gonna pull this one out and get her dried off. Still not hot, so that's good. Just kind of being a little noisy right now. Every once in a while, it just seems to do that. But it's all right. As long as the motors aren't stressed or getting hot or anything. I can already tell this one's going to be amazing. Try to not scream at the microphone. Oh, yeah. Ooh, wee. That's a good one. This next stage is going to be the money. Yeah, because you can already see it's getting a really nice gloss there. So yeah, let's get this into the 10K, and we will wrap this thing up. That is excellent too, because now I know that the other one is going to look great. It'll have to, might have to tell somebody that they have to go as a pair. They're twins. You can't separate them. Wow. Yeah, this one is nice. How's that feel? Just a little tight, so keep it nice and loosey goosey. Make sure that get that nice rotation on there. Oh yeah, the water doesn't even want to penetrate. It just beads up and rolls away. Oh, look at that. Right off the bat, decent rotation. Hey, thanks, Debbie. Appreciate that. Very nice of you. Definitely, every little bit helps, you know. We're going to be hopefully getting the high speed machine before too long. And I really am looking forward to that. You know, that's what all of this is going towards. Um, in fact, once I get this next batch done, and we're going to sell those over at the big show. Well, I'm going to have a bunch on rockhound.com as well, and then we're going to sell a bunch at the show the second weekend of March, and hopefully we'll be able to raise enough money to get that high-speed machine and all the cups. You know, but the thing is we're only probably going to start out with like one series of cups, and I'm thinking we're going to start out, since I already have the 3-inch, I'm going to start out with those because it's a pretty good size range. I want to say I can do, it's like I think you can do like 3.2 inch to like 4 point something. I can't remember. It's been a while since I looked at the chart, but yeah, you can do a really good size range. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to is being able to do obsidian, because we got some crazy obsidian here. Better tighten that down a little bit while it's getting a good rotation. There we go. It's so weird too, because like sometimes if you tighten it down, all of a sudden it loses the rotation and it just does a weird, spin. But then as soon as you loosen that wing nut up again, all of a sudden it does exactly what you want. And it's like, what? What changed? What was going on here? Ah, crazy little machine. But before too long, it will be this crazy machine and the super fast one, which means we'll probably end up. Well, we're gonna have to change our production process. That's for sure. Because right now, my big thing is trying to make sure that I don't have bottlenecks, and so I run this guy behind me for all the larger spheres. I got one in there right now, another 4-inch, and then I have another one off camera here that it's pretty much for the small stuff. So like, because I think I got 2-inch cups on there right now, and so I do like the 2.5s and 3-inch ones on that. But I did get an email from Highland Park yesterday that said my 2¼ inch cups are on the way, so I don't have to use my wonky cups anymore. My roughing cups, my wonky ones. I'll be able to use good cups, but I also had some 3½ inch roughing cups that should be with that order, and I didn't get an email saying those are there too. And so I'm like, you guys, what are you doing? Please, please just give me all of my cups, please. You know, because, I mean, once March comes around, or, you know, basically the end of March, we're going to be out in the desert. We're going to be digging, not making spheres. I mean, it's going to be awesome, though, you know? And I think what we're probably going to be doing is we're going to be doing a whole lot of Sunstone stuff. I'm going to bring my laptop out there, so the videos are still going to be coming. But we're going to be trying to do some live streams out there as much as possible. You know, because we are going to be out in the middle of the desert, you know? So I still have to buy the Starlink and everything like that. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just going to... There's going to be a lot of stuff. But I think because Epoch hasn't really done a lot of the stuff out here, he's done nothing. He's done Sunstones, and I took him over to Otter Point. But other than that, he hasn't done nothing. He hasn't done Glass Buttes. He hasn't nothing. So I think I'm going to try to pull him away on a couple of weekends here and there over the spring and summer. And, you know, at least boogie him over to, like, Glass Buttes and maybe Hampton or something like that. I'm going to try to join Rock Dude on maybe some of his excursions or something like that. But what dates are the Central Point show? It's the second weekend of March. So, but it's the whole weekend, man. So it used to just be like Saturday and Sunday, but they're doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now. And they're expanding it as well. So it used to just be that strip in the middle of the, you know, the horsey area there. The horse barn thing at the expo. But now it's up onto the mezzanines and everything. So they expanded it last year, and they're expanding it again this year. So, I mean, it's gaining a lot of popularity. I think it's one of the bigger ones in the state, to be honest. So, pretty excited about it. Oh, yeah, Casey, it's pretty awesome. It would be awesome if those of us who love doing Instagram, TikTok, Shorts content could get together with someone who does simple YouTube videos. Yeah. Dude, I'll teach you guys anything you want to know about YouTube. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know a whole lot, but I can teach you what I know, you know? Because I'm always learning, always trying. So if you guys ever want to just get together and, like, we can go over to Thai Barbecue. It's a really good place over in Grants Pass. And we can just, you know, shoot the shit over there. Over some chicken. He's got some really, really cool specimens in the restaurant, man. For real. Cup hostages. Yeah, and you know what the thing is, too, Wooden Chrome? Is they're literally the only people who make these things. And so it's like, there's nobody else. Where else can I get them? Covington, they make, like, cutter cups, but you might as well take a PVC fitting and dump grit in it, because it's basically that's what you're doing anyway. So, it's so frustrating, man. So frustrating. Yeah, you're going to need a mic. Probably going to take this thing out there. But since it's not going to be like machines running and stuff like that out there, I'm probably going to be bringing my lapel mic out there as well. So yeah, it's definitely going to be good. Just on a city in death mask, not sure from which country. It's very old. Can't imagine how on earth they did this. Yeah. So Tiger Eye, actually, when I first started doing this channel, I had this really, really cool idea. So like I was saying before, I was a sushi chef for like 10 years and got really, really big into Japanese culture. Actually, I've always really been into Japanese culture. Just absolutely love it. And I thought about making samurai armor out of obsidian, but like, so you know how dragon scale, you have all the little pieces and then that overlaps on each piece, right? And so I was thinking, okay, if I just did a bunch of like coins, and then polish those up or shape them however. I've got a whole design still on my computer, but I figured that, it would be like a year long project, if not longer. But there's thousands and thousands of tons of obsidian out there, so it's like pretty easy to get. I know some good spots to dig for it, and I've got the tools to be able to like kind of mass produce the stuff. And so eventually, one day, I think I'm actually going to do that, and it's going to be like dragon scale, and then for like the headpiece and everything, I'll have to cut long strips of it. And there's yeah, I've got a whole like design and stuff that I've been working on seriously for probably like 6 years now. And actually, I've even got names for them and everything because I want to do like different kinds of different materials. So of course I want to start out with obsidian because it'd be crazy hard to do. Plus, it would just look so cool. I mean, you're not gonna wear it, of course, but that's one of those like art pieces that it's one of a kind. You don't even know, like, you couldn't even price something like that. That's something you put in some like ultra fancy place, as like a straight up a museum piece or something like that. But yeah, I've still got that on the list, and every once in a while I bust out the file and do a little tinkering on it and figure, okay, well, what could I do? Am I there yet? But you'll know that one day I'm going to do it, and it's going to be probably one of the craziest things you'll ever see. And I'm not joking about that. I think it will be absolutely just bananas. And looking at like the YouTube thing, that's going to be like the big times, or at least I would think so. If I saw somebody do that, the entire project, video the entire project, and be like, "Yep, this is how I did it, and here's the finished product," and you just go bananas for that. People go bananas for way less cool stuff. Oh, it's going to be weird again. Oh, looks like we need an adjustment. Needs a little latitude adjustment. Yeah, it would be super crazy. Got to put all this on a truck bed and do it in the field while you're digging sunstones. Exactly. Yep. It's it's gonna be tough. I'll tell you that. It's gonna be super tough just figuring everything out. But that's part of the reason I've been doing this here in the comfort of my own garage. And so at least that way I can kind of at least get an understanding of like what I'm gonna need, how things work, and that way when I go out into the desert, I'll be like, okay, well, this is what we got, guys. But I think it's going to be awesome because I think that, to be honest, I think that live streaming is the future, especially with all this AI stuff nowadays. Just can't trust anything. I mean, before too long, all these like video channels like mine, it could be AI really easily, especially with some of the stuff I've seen recently. Like China's got crazy AI video stuff coming out now to where it's like, they can switch over. I mean, the video I saw the other day was Jet Li fighting, what's his name, Jackie Chan, and I straight thought it was a movie. And they were like, no, this is AI. And I was like, no way. You got to be kidding me. But sure enough. So, but that's one thing I'll tell you guys. I'm gonna keep it real. You know, I'm not gonna sell out to the AI overlords. You know, I'm broke, but I ain't that broke. Not morally broke anyway. You know. Mm-hmm. I agree with you there, Debbie. I agree with you there. There are not enough hours in the day. I mean, there's not enough hours in the year. There's a lot of cool ideas out there. But I'll tell you what, samurai armor made of rainbow obsidian, that's going to be top notch right there. Yeah, boredom. Yeah, I think that people who get bored aren't thinking enough. You know what I mean? Or more accurately, they're not curious enough. You know, because that's one of the things that when I was doing my graduate school, my professor, you know, because all of them, they all knew me, first name basis and everything. And one of my professors is like, you know what? You're not the smartest guy in the world. Like, God damn, do you try hard? And you are a curious son of a bitch. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Thank you? Like, you know? And ultimately, what he was saying is he's like, you know, some people are gifted with just ridiculous intelligence, right? But other people have to work for it. And I just be one of those people who have to work for it and will work for it, you know? And I think that's the same with anything. It's like, been working to get these spheres going for years and just finally now. But how much do I appreciate it? How much am I doing it like every single day, you know? Yeah, or too lazy, that's for sure. You know, Netflix is just a lot easier to, but that's why they used to call the television the idiot box. Most AI uses in the GoPro editor gives me a short 2 second blip with the LiDAR. That's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, there is some cool. I use AI all the time. I just, you know, don't use it for my channel, um, or not the creation. I do. I ask like ChatGPT all kinds of stuff. In fact, when I was doing the research for the Sunstone mine, I was asking it all kinds of stuff because I could feed it a bunch of geology papers and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, what are we looking at here? Where should I be looking? You know, what's the best place? Because, yeah, I've been digging out there for years, but it's always been on somebody's claim. You know, lots of fake AI rock hunting shots on Facebook. Yeah, there's going to be more too, buddy. A lot more AI slop is coming. And what's really sad is that we're not even going to know the difference. You know, at some point, it's going to get to where it's so good that we won't even know. You know, you'll be like, oh, yeah. But I'll tell you what, the bigger creators are going to be the first ones who are going to sell out. I'll tell you that right now. I think all the small people, they're going to, you know, um, they're going to try to keep it real. They're going to. That's going to be their angle. You know what I mean? Is like, no, I'm human. I'm human, and this is why I think that live streaming is going to be the future. You know, because that way, you know that I'm sitting here in my shop polishing spheres. You know, my phone will ring. You know, stuff like that. So we'll see. Tells me somehow the GoPro is a fine feature of LiDAR programming. Probably just hide it. Yeah, I bet you it does, wouldn't Chrome? Can't be much worse than the print-on-demand rock hunting books you can buy these days. Yeah, terrible. Terrible. You know, and what really sucks is that you get people that are just making tons and tons of money off of this stuff. And it's like, well, that's the world we live in. You know? Sucks, but that's why you find people like the Rogue Rock Hound, right? It has its place, but most of the time it needs to stay in its pocket. Yep, exactly. Yep, where the content is just trash. Exactly. 100% agree. Let's see if we can turn this off real quick and then turn it back on and see if it gives us a little funkier rotation. Ooh, that sounded kind of weird. Nice though. Look at that. Woo wee. That's not bad. We'll let it go for just a little bit longer and then we'll get that thing in there, dry it up, and show you what it looks like. I stopped it at just the perfect spot too. Ooh man, this one's got some major characteristics, and it's crazy too because like this one right here, same thing. You know, some people. I was actually explaining this to a couple who came into the Crater Rock Museum's lapidary shop today, and I was like, "Oh yeah, so this is what I work primarily," and they're like, "Well, but it doesn't have any color." There we go. I don't, he's like, is that obsidian? And I'm like, no, dude, it's just really, really dark green. And so I didn't have my light on me, so I pulled up some pictures of the Applegate jade, and it was just like, oh my god, where's this from? And it's like, dude, right up the way. Like, yeah, there's tons of it up there too. You can go find it. And he's like, wait, at Applegate? And I'm like, yeah, just go down to the bottom of the lake. You know, when it's dry, you'll find it. Ton of it. It's like, no way, dude. It's crazy. AI lawyer that can negotiate all those fine print agreements we are forced to agree with? Yeah, 100%. Looks like the Earth. Yes, it does, Debbie. This is why I said this one is going to be crazy, like a little planetoid, 4-inch planet. And this is why I really like this material. It's because like it just has such good characteristics to it, and it takes a really really nice polish. You would think that it's a little bit softer, so it's not going to take that great of a polish. But man, I tell you what, it works. Dedicated to a new Rockhound channel. He went ape over AI. If Eric wants to watch fake rocks, exactly. Yep, exactly. Yeah, actually, currently rockhounding hates it. Hates AI with a passion. He's like, it's the worst. I'm like, come on, man. Like, it does help for certain things. Like if you're doing some research, right? If you want to know about a new area or something, or know about more importantly the geology about stuff. Really useful, because then you can go into oh, I can't remember what that. There's a website that I used to get like college papers from, and so you get actual like PhD geology papers, but you could send it to Mindat and all that stuff, and you're like, okay, I want you to go to this website, this website, this website, this website, and tell me what you find about this mineral and blah blah blah. Give me a rundown about it. It's great. But if you just let it go and do its thing, a lot of the times it's garbage, And I mean, I was an early adopter of AI. Like I had it was like beginning of the year or end of last year or whatever. I got an email from ChatGPT that said I was in the top I think it was like the top 20% of users, original adopters. And I was like, really? Like, huh, that's crazy. Would have never thought. Or it might have been more than that. It was like top 13% or something. But, I was in school. And so, oh, see that? Nothing changed. And now all of a sudden it's doing a weird pattern. Ah, there we go. So, what I would do is like when I had to do case studies, man, I'd get these like 35-page papers, and I would have to read through them, and it's like, so Jenny works here, and Craig is, part of the team, and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to read all this. This is stupid. And so I would dump it into ChatGPT and say, what is this asking me? What are we looking at here? I don't need to read an entire Tolkien novel about some stupid company that doesn't exist. I need to know what the problem is so I can spend all my time trying to solve the problem. And that was way faster. And one of my professors is like, you can't use AI, and I'm like, stop me. Like, this speeds up my work, and if you're going to try to teach people, especially in the business world, well, guess what all the business people are going to be doing? They're going to be using AI within the next 2 years, guaranteed. And sure as shit, like, how many people have lost their job because of AI? And it's going to just get worse, I tell you that. Still need to think for yourself and sort things through? Absolutely, 100%. And see, that's where I think that a lot of people misuse AI. Is what they'll do is they'll rely on it, and they'll just take it as gospel instead of actually critically thinking about it. And I mean, it's like the other day, because I got my dad using it now, and he asked it some questions, and because he's got like it's not like a turn signal, but it's like a signal light that's kind of by the turn signal, and he's just like, it's out, and I don't want to pay, ridiculous prices to go have it fixed. So put it into GPT and was asking about it, and I went out there and was doing what GPT told it, and told him, and then he's like, this is wrong. And so he told GPT, he's like, hey dude, this is wrong. And it was like, oh, my bad. Here's what you actually need to do. And I was like, see, you just learned a very valuable lesson right there. You need to call it out sometimes. And so you got to do the thinking, beforehand, before you go out and crawl up underneath your vehicle or something. You need to say, are you sure about that? Just that one line right there will save a whole lot of time, And because a lot of the times it's like, derp, I don't know. Sounds like you were right. I don't know how I got that question wrong, but here, let me give you the real answer. He's old school. I get a lot of good tips from him. First video I did, where I was, oh, no way, dude. That's awesome. It's awesome, Wooden Chrome. Most definitely should not be allowed the schematics of semiconductor machines. Yes, I agree. Don't have a calculator in your pocket. Sounds like we've been here before. Exactly. And it's this is where the kids are cooked nowadays, is because now, just like a lot of people can't do long division, a lot of these kids ain't going to be able to think at all. I saw some statistics the other day because school still wants me to teach and everything, and so I get like news feeds and everything, and one of the news feeds was telling me about some school. I can't remember where it was at. I think it might have been down in California, but they had, and this was like a middle school. It was not a high school, but it was like a middle school, and only 24% of the kids could read. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. 0% had in their science, because you got the reading, the math, the science, all that stuff. Science had a 0%. And I was like, oh yeah, these kids are done. Why are those kids getting, or why is that school even still open? With those kind of numbers, that's terrible. Exactly. Personal secretary. Smart. It's the way to do it. All right. Speaking of, I think this ball's about ready. It's just so hard to turn it off sometimes, though, when you got that perfect rotation right now. Because you can see it every once in a while. It just grabs it and throws it the other way. It's good. As used sometimes to format criminal case doesn't make sense in court. Yeah, doesn't have to. guy goes to jail and some guys don't go to jail. Exactly. No Child Left Behind did a ton of damage. Yep, I agree. 100%. And what happens when the power goes out? Yep, exactly. They freak. Oh, yeah. Ooh, what is that? Must be like maybe pyrite or something in there. Because I can see some little golden glimmers. Oh, yeah. This one's beautiful. Well, hopefully, we're going to actually be able to give you a good view of it too on the webcam. Oh yeah, that does look like it might have like some pyrite or something in it. It'd be really cool if it was gold, huh? This would be an expensive sphere. This one would have to stick with me. Oh yeah, looking good. Ooh wee, look at this gloss. Oh yeah, and that's dry. That's dry. That's good. All right, let's see if we can actually get you a good view of this thing. I know it's kind of tough, but yeah, because I got the camera focused down here. But yeah, like right here, this stuff is crazy looking. Digging on that. And actually, you can see, you might be able to see it. So there's some like little specks in there. And they're really kind of like golden. But I'll make sure to take some pictures of this, some better pictures, and post it on like my Instagram or something. But oh yeah, this one is incredible. I'm digging on this. You know, I knew this one was going to be a good one, but I didn't know it was going to be this good, to be honest. Wow. Yeah, because normally you get the chromite inclusions, which they give a nice metallic sheen, but these are straight like, well, they're really giving off like more of a golden reflection as opposed to that, that silver or kind of what is that? That gray, like pewter kind of reflection. Huh. And I mean, I know they get pyrite and chalcopyrite and stuff like that sometimes in these, but I also know that gold can be brought up through serpentines. So who knows? It does feel heavy, but there you go. Let's see if I can actually keep it on camera, huh? Excellent, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I appreciate everybody joining. And I definitely want to thank all of my members. It looks like we're actually growing pretty well, you guys. And I definitely appreciate everybody for joining and members for contributing and all the little super chats and everything like that. I really do appreciate it. And, I hope you guys have an excellent Sunday, of course, because, Sunday is fun day. And if you can, get out there and go rock hounding. Because before too long, the mosquitoes and poison oak are going to be out, and this is the time. So, but I think that's going to wrap it up. Oh, this was a long one tonight, you guys. Almost 3 hours. Not too bad. It's been a while since we did a long one. So, but thank you guys again, and we'll see you next week, huh? Oh, and make sure to check out the video coming out on Wednesday, because I'm going to go in to a lot deeper analysis with all this stuff, or show you what's going on here, so then that way, like when we're talking about this on the live stream, you got a little bit better idea of like why it shakes back and forth and everything like that. So all right, well, I'm gonna grab some food and I will see all you guys next week. Have a good night.